Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making the religion completely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So fasting, it cleans the heart. Fasting, it removes showing off. The concept of showing off, which is the opposite of being sincere. If someone is sincere to Allah, then there is no chance that they can show off. So this ikhlas, this sincerity, respected friends, there is three important pillars of sincerity. Three important pillars of sincerity. Number one is mahabbatullah, the love of Allah. Number two is khawf, the fear of Allah. And number three is raja, hope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These three combined give you sincerity. And why is that? The love of Allah, mahabba of Allah, for you to leave something, you must love that thing more than that which you are leaving. Right? For you to leave something, you must love that thing more than that which you are leaving. For us to leave our food for the sake of Allah shows that we love Allah more than our food. That is the mahabba of Allah, the love of Allah. And second is that the desire of earning the reward of Allah, raja, hope of earning the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you fast, right, you have desire of the hope and of the reward of Allah. That desire is more than your desire for the food, more than the desire for your desire, more than the desire you have for the reward of Allah is more than the desire you have for your food. Therefore you leave it. That is the second part. The third is the khawf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you leave out breaking the command of Allah and eating any type of food during the day because you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's punishment. So these three together, they deal with ikhlas. And this is the second way for us to attain the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third mechanism, the third way for us to attain the taqwa of Allah through fasting is to begin to control our nafs, to control our desires. Because taqwa and controlling our desires go hand to hand. You have to be able to control your desires. You can't do as you want. You are not free to do as you please. We are all the bondsmen of Allah. We are all the servants of Allah. We are all the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot do as we want, as we please. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about the danger of following our desires. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in one verse, speaking to Dawood alayhi salam, Ya Dawood, inna ja'alnaka khalifatan fil ard, fahkum bayna an-nasi bil haqq. وَلَا تَتَّبِعِ الْهَوَىٰ فَيُضِلَّكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Dawood alayhi salam that we have made you a khalifa in the land and judge amongst the people with justice and do not follow your desires. Because whoever follows their desires, it will take them away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Umar bin Abdul Aziz rahimahullah said that the muttaqi, the person of taqwa, is like one who is tied up. One who is tied up. Why? Because he has tied up his desires. He has tied up his desires. See how he has linked taqwa and holding and controlling your desires. That's why, respected friends, whenever we have a urge or desire comes, we can't practice upon it. Whenever we have an urge or desire, we cannot just do and practice upon it. Fasting holds our desires. It teaches us to hold. This modern culture, the world we live in now, this culture which is telling us to do as you want, do as you please, just do it. This hedonistic principle that you can do whatever you want as long as you don't harm people. This is not what Islam teaches us, what fasting teaches us, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. Allah is teaching us that hold your desires. And how do you do that? Through fasting. That's why, respected friends, the person who cannot control his desires, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has criticized him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said about the one who follows his desires, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you seen that individual who takes his desires as his Lord? It is as if he is worshipping his desires. He wakes up whenever he wants. He goes to sleep whenever he wants. He eats whatever he wants. He lives what type of life, whatever he wants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticizes this person. Right? So, not every urge that we have should be practiced upon. Right? Not every desire is right that we should follow and practice upon that. That's why Rasulullah has told us in the famous hadith of Sahih Muslim that تُعْرَضُ الْفِتَنُ عَلَى الْقُلُوبِ كَالْحَصِيرِ عُودًا عُودًا, that temptations will be placed in front of the hearts. People will be tested, one test after another. تُعْرَضُ الْفِتَنُ عَلَى الْقُلُوبِ كَالْحَصِيرِ عُودًا عُودًا. You will be tested one after another. And then Rasulullah explained the results of this test. فَأَيُّ قَلْبٍ أُشْرِبَهَا نُكِتَتْ فِيهِ نُكْتَةٌ سَوْدَاء. That whoever accepts these temptations, whoever follows their desires, then every time they do that, their heart will be blackened. Right? Their heart will be blackened until it completely covers their heart and is infested and is filthy and dark. But the opposite is the heart that every time the temptations is presented to it, the fitna is presented to it, it rejects it. It doesn't follow its desires. Then nukitat fihi nuktatun bayda, a white dot is placed on it, meaning the person, there's a light on the heart and the heart becomes pure. The element of purity increases. Then Rasulullah said the result of this is that there's two types of hearts. There is one heart which is pure, which is good, which is tayyib, and the opposite is the heart which is dark and blackened. Rasulullah told us, why is this? Because that heart which follows his desires will end up becoming filthy and dark and on the path to destruction. That's why in another hadith, Rasulullah has said, ثَلَاثٌ مُهْلِكَاتٌ. Three things would lead a person to destruction. And one of them is hawan muttaba', right? Following your desires without challenging them, without placing them in their right limits, following the desires in that way. Whoever follows their desires without following the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will lead them to the path of destruction. That's why Hassan al-Basri rahimahullah was asked, what is the greatest jihad? What is the greatest jihad? He said, to go against your desires. To be able to fight and go against your desires. If you can take one step on your desires, then the next step you can do whatever you want. Meaning you will be able to conquer. If you can conquer your desires, you can conquer anything. Nothing can stop you. So this is the third way for us to be able to attain the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through fasting, to hold our desires. The fourth mechanism is via the means of perfecting our akhlaq, to have good character and conduct, to deal with each other, to treat each other in the right way, to have compassion, to be merciful amongst ourselves, to have good character and conduct. Because a person cannot attain taqwa, a person cannot be a muttaqi unless they have good character and conduct. It is not possible. You have to be good-mannered to be a muttaqi. Because a muttaqi is not one who is fahish, mutafahish, badhi. He doesn't use vulgar language, doesn't swear, doesn't use any abuse people. Muttaqi is a person who speaks good. A muttaqi is a person who deals with others in the right way. A muttaqi is a person who can control his anger, who can forgive people. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. A muttaqi can hold his anger. A muttaqi person can hold his anger and pardon people. So how is this linked to fasting? Rasulullah told us that when you are fasting and somebody speaks bad to you, abuses you, swears at you, then you should respond and tell them, Inni sa'im, that I am fasting. So fasting teaches us to have good character and conduct. Fasting teaches us the way we should deal with people. Rasulullah has told us that إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ, that I have only been sent to perfect and complete good character and conduct. Now look at that. Good character and conduct, Rasulullah came to complete that. His teachings, his lifestyle, his sunnah is the best way. And Rasulullah is telling us that character and conduct is such an important aspect of Islam. Respected friends, in another hadith it is said, أَثْقَلُ الشَّيْء, the most heaviest matter on the Day of Judgment, the heaviest matter on the Day of Judgment is husn al-khuluq, is good character and conduct. In another hadith, it is mentioned that the people that will enter Jannah, the qualities that they have, the characteristics of majority of people that enter Jannah is two things: taqwa and husn al-khuluq, is good character and conduct. In another hadith, Rasulullah said that the people that will be closest to me, the people that will be closest to me in the hereafter are those ahsanuhum khuluqan, those who have the best character and conduct. So this is what Ramadan and fasting teaches us, to be able to protect our tongue, to be able to have good character and conduct. And if we don't do that, respected friends, remember this: Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, it comes in a hadith Qudsi, مَنْ لَمْ يَدَعْ قَوْلَ الزُّورِ وَالْعَمَلَ بِهِ فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ فِي أَنْ يَضَعَ طَعَامُهُ وَشَرَابُهُ. The person who does not leave out vulgar language, does not leave out futile talk, does not leave out bad actions, then Allah has no need for his fast. Allah has no need for that individual to stay hungry. There's no benefit. Right? There's no benefit if a person doesn't protect their tongue, doesn't look after their tongue while they're fasting. So this is why Ramadan is there to train us. Right? It's like a 1 month training course which teaches us how to have good character and conduct amongst us. We don't cheat, we don't steal, we don't usurp the rights of people, we don't infringe on the rights of people. We stay away from that which is temporary, which is halal. We stay away from that temporarily, imagine that which is haram permanently. Right? So this is the fourth way to attain taqwa of Allah. And fifth, the last, that fasting helps us taste the sweetness of Iman. Fasting helps us taste the sweetness of Iman. Because a person who hasn't tasted the sweetness of Iman will never ever be able to reach the high stages of piety. Right? Whoever hasn't enjoyed the worship of Allah, whoever hasn't enjoyed standing up, praying tahajjud, standing up, praying taraweeh, this person will never be able to taste the sweetness of Iman. So this is what the month of Ramadan is there. The fasting is there. It gives us every year an opportunity to taste the sweetness of Iman. You look at the people of the past, subhanallah, Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu anhu, it is said about him that he told the people in his army, do you know about the man, a groom, when he gets married, the excitement he experiences his first night? The first night when a man is married, the excitement he goes through. They said, yes, of course you know that. He said, I swear by Allah, when I'm in the battlefield, on my horse, with the sword in my hand, I experience more enjoyment and more happiness than that man with his wife the first night. What is this? What is this? This is the sweetness of Iman. It is said from the pious people, they used to say, لو يعلم الملوك وأبناء الملوك ما نحن فيه. If the people could, if the kings could understand what enjoyment we have in tahajjud, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in reciting the Quran, what enjoyment we experience when we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they would fight us for that. They would fight us with their swords in order to get that experience. But money can never buy that. Money can never give you that inner peace. We spend our days hungry, our throats are thirsty, right? But we have an inner peace, an inner happiness. What is that? That is the sweetness of Iman we're tasting. So Ramadan, fasting, helps us to get this sweetness of Iman, and ultimately it helps us to get the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So keep this in mind. There's a couple of points that help us to attain the taqwa of Allah. And I'll just quickly summarize. Number one is sabr. Sabr. Number two is sincerity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number three is holding our desires. Number four is good character and conduct. And number five is the sweetness of Iman. With this in mind, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us in this month of Ramadan, to enable us, to give us the true objective of this fasting, which is the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.